I want to spend some time talking about the 4 different kinds of speaking styles. The first is a manuscript. So a manuscript is just as it sounds. You're writing every single word out, which might sound like a good idea, but actually it is not the kind that we use in speech class. There are times, however, where having every single word written out might be very helpful. For instance, you might want to write out every single word if you are giving a State of the Union address. This is not something you want to give, for instance, off the cuff. Another time where almost all of us will have the opportunity to speak and where a manuscript might be a good idea is within a eulogy. Many people feel that they'll be fine, that as they're paying tribute to someone's life, of someone that they've loved, that they're fine just getting up and telling stories. But emotion can be a funny thing, and it can take us over at times that we are unexpecting. And so if you have a manuscript written out, then the leader of that service, that memorial service, can move in and help finish the words that you want spoken about that individual if you are unable to articulate them. Another style, a second style, is memorized. A memorized style. This also can be very helpful, but it is not the style that we use here in speech class. And the reason being is, basically people forget. They get up and they might say, I knew it, I said it a million times, and I got up there and my voice, my thoughts went blank. And so you really don't want to use a memorized speech style. Another reason why is because sometimes when people memorize, they lose some of their affect. So it's almost like you can see them like almost reading on the back of their eyeballs. It's very strange. So you can tell when someone is doing it that way instead of just from the heart. A third way is impromptu. Now, an impromptu style means basically that it's just done off the cuff. And while when we are in class with one another, we do give impromptus, it's a little harder to do in a virtual format. But that's just, like I said, just off the cuff, just talking about something. But the problem is with impromptu is that it's really, really hard to give a prepared speech in an impromptu format simply because it's difficult to organize on the spot. Plus, how are you going to remember what your resources are, what you get your information, direct quotes, and so on? So the beautiful one that we use here in public speaking is 6 syllables. You've read about it in your chapter. Will I make it to the end of the page? Extemporaneous. EXtemporaneous. Extemporaneous speaking means that you are speaking from a keyword outline, that you have a sense of where you're going throughout your entire speech. You know what comes next. You have the direct quotes written out word for word. You have the thoughts and the points written out in an outline format. But the beauty of an extemporaneous speech is it gives you some flexibility. So when you don't really say it the same way twice. It comes more from the heart, more from your research. It's also why it's really important not to give a speech on the same day that you're just writing it. Just let it simmer with you for a little bit. But extemporaneous is highly planned and prepared, but also gives you room for spontaneity. This is something that will show up on a quiz as the preferred method. So if you're at this point of the video, you will get that question most certainly right. And it's the way that that we'll be speaking throughout the entire semester. So I hope you enjoy it. It might be it might be something to get used to at first, but it also will give you great flexibility to connect. Oh, that's not to say that you don't practice, however. It's really important to practice with your keyword outline, and I'll talk more about that in a separate video.